Well, Alan, thanks for joining us. You've got a new project, At Risk in Aylesbury. What's the project about?
The idea is to try and raise the profile of fuel poverty across the country, really. It's a very small project at this stage, but we recognise that something like 24,000 people die each year from being cold in their homes, and about 20,000 of those are over 75, and they're not quite so active, they don't get out quite so much, and they shiver to death. They just really can't afford to heat their houses, or they feel they can't, and consequently they die, and this is unacceptable in a society like this.
Yeah, of course, and as you say, Dan, I mean, it's a very topical thing at the moment. Of course, this time of year, it gets even more brought into the headlights, if you like. So you're doing it particularly to help older people?
Yes, I mean, there are other groups as well, but at this stage it's very early days, it's very small scale, so we're looking at targeting people who are in their homes, and you know, at this time of year, particularly with the new forecasts for snow coming in the next couple of weeks, conscious that people will be nervous about putting their heating on too much because they're going to worry about the bills coming in 3 months' time or sooner, they will just panic and perhaps not heat when they should do, and therefore they will get hypothermia, potentially maybe die, which is, as I say, not what we want to see.
Buckinghamshire, of course, where you are, is a pretty affluent area. If you feel the need to do it there, then surely there must be other more impoverished areas that should be doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a very fair point. I mean, Buckinghamshire has always been pointed at as being sort of a leafy capital, very affluent area, and it is. But we are very rural. We've got lots of off-mains gas areas, so people are on oil, paying a lot more money for their heating. We've also got areas of deprivation which are sort of clouded and hidden by the affluence in the area. Right. And yes, there are people who are going to be seriously in trouble over this winter in Aylesbury. And as you say, Aylesbury is a tip of the iceberg. If it's bad in Aylesbury, it's going to be a lot worse in other parts of the country.
Do you know of any other projects like this, or is this a pioneering project?
There's been lots of things in the past about blankets, I think, in terms of getting people sort of emergency packs, small scale stuff, Red Cross, this sort of thing. I think this is quite novel for local authorities. I could be mistaken, but I'd like to see this happening more and more with authorities. I think this kind of thing should be ramped up because it's very easy for authorities to look at the wider picture, the national picture, and say energy prices are energy prices. We can't control them, they're global, and therefore nothing we can do about this. But there are small things we can do, and I think if more players come involved in this and try and come to the table with us and try and make a way to try and resolve this in small ways, chipping away at it, it'll raise the profile.
So you mentioned there, obviously it's a big project, it's going to be an even bigger project. So who would be your other strategic partners? Who would you be looking to work with? Well,
at this stage, we're already passing things out, blankets and nutrients, to likes of Red Cross, Age UK, Age Concern, various local lunch groups, church groups, to work with them and use their knowledge of who is vulnerable, who is really at risk in their own sort of group, if you like. Beyond that, we're looking with our colleagues and our partners at NEF, National Energy Foundation in Milton Keynes, who we've worked with for a good 10 years now, to also target where best to focus these things and get these blankets out. We do talks, we have groups, one of our home safety people goes out and fixes locks and smoke alarms. He'll pass out things at the same time. Yeah. The fire service also are a good resource for this because they're out there fitting smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, giving advice. They will be able to defer and refer some of these things to the right people. So the more players we can get involved, the more companies who can get involved with this, with the right kind of products to bring to the market on this, the better, I think, really.
Do you feel that perhaps you're being a bit tokenistic, you're challenging others to do more for the people that you are actually going to help? Do you feel that you're challenging them as well?
It's a very fair question, and yes, in many ways I do. This is very small scale, and it's chipping away very, very small levels of a big problem. But you have to start somewhere. You know, energy prices are global, and we can't control those, neither can government. All we can do at a local level is try and raise that awareness and try and get other people to do similar things and build up that momentum so that fuel poverty doesn't become just an accepted norm, that people can die each year because they can't afford to heat their homes.
And I guess as well, you'd like to hear from others who would like to get involved in the project. Who would you be looking to work with or to hear from? I know you've mentioned the Red Cross and those people, but is there anybody outside of that private sector perhaps?
Oh, we're talking with companies. We've got a company now, Orvcare, have very kindly donated blankets to us, foil blankets with a woven interior so you can keep people warm. It's something equivalent to having a cavity in your house without actually going to that expense of doing that. Sort of 3 times a summer tog duvet over you, which is fantastic. There's companies now working with us potentially on nutrient supplements. We're talking about lighting in terms of people providing low energy light bulbs, LED lighting, right. But anybody who's got a package that can offer to us to bring into this agenda to try and get more recognition for older people, conscious that, you know, recent government have now reduced the eligibility for insulation in their homes, so that over 70s don't get it by default anymore for free, and they have to pay for that.
Which is a shame, isn't it?
It is, it's a tragedy. And conscious of that, you know, any company who is interested in working with us on this, or even authority who wants to do some joint ventures with us to try and build up the capacity on this, we'd welcome to talk to.
It's an ongoing project. Have you put a timescale on it? Are you able to put a timescale on it?
I don't think so. At this stage, it's very early days. We're under the radar really at this stage. It's something we're trying out and seeing what will happen. I would love to see it grow and not just be Aylesbury centric. It needs to be bigger than this. It needs to be national at the very least, I think. And so this doesn't really end here. It begins here.
Good luck.
Thank you.